Hey, hey, happy new year, mighty pals. And look, I know everybody's talking about resolutions and they're talking about goals and they're talking about the new things we're going to do this year. And like I said in my email to all of you, my mighty pals, this week, I'm not going to be a cliche. I'm going to be a contrarian. And I want to talk today about unresolutions. I used to write a blog post about this. But basically, it was things that I was going to stop doing in the new year, or alternately, things that I'm not going to give up. So, why? Why is that one of those things? Well, because resolutions are hard and goals can be hard, and mostly that's because we don't get specific enough. You've heard of SMART goals, specific and measurable and actionable and relevant and time bound. Well, yes, all of that's true. But sometimes we can get clarity when we think about the things that we're absolutely sure we don't want, or the things we don't want to do anymore. So I want you to flip things around maybe as you're thinking about your business and your marketing for this month and obviously for this new year. So it's like when you sit down with a partner or a spouse and you're talking about dinner plans, and one of you goes, "What do you want tonight?" And one goes, "I don't know. What do you want?" And this goes back and forth. I know this because it happens in my household all the time. When until somebody says, "I don't know, pork, chicken parm." Chicken parm seems to be a default. So, but you both probably know what you don't want. It's like, I know I don't want Brussels sprouts, and I know I don't want kale salad, and he knows whether he's in the mood for fish. Or maybe you've decided, well, I know, I've had enough Chinese takeout over the holidays. So you know the things you don't want, which can help you narrow down the things that maybe you do want. So things like, I'm not going to give up coffee because I need to function and send emails and do content and do videos. And I'm not likely to join a dry January movement. I'm not giving up wine. I like exploring geeky, different wines and what goes with food and talking about it over dinner with my spouse. But I can moderate. I can watch what I drink and how often. But a truly dry month, not likely to happen. Kudos to you if that's what you are doing, or you're on a longer path to sobriety. This is about you doing you, my friends. And yes, it's ironic to say this on a Facebook Live, but there's a lot about Facebook I don't like. And that's probably true for a lot of you. And so one of those things that I do or I don't do is I don't accept friend requests from everyone who possibly gets in contact with me. I have fairly strict personal boundaries on how I use this particular tool. Hey, Fran. Hey, Tracy. Hey, folks who are watching live and on replay. So, look, folks, if I've never had a conversation with you, even if that's a Zoom conversation or a multiple thread conversation on Facebook or some kind of conversation and a connection, then I'm probably not accepting a friend request. I am, however, thrilled if you follow my business page, follow Mighty Marketing Mojo, if you join my Facebook business group and we can connect there. We can connect on LinkedIn. Some of the problems that I've seen some of my friends complain about social media, and especially Facebook and their feeds and all of this drama and why it's causing them to take social media breaks. Then I ask, like, how many people are you connected with? And the answer is the entire known universe or their entire town, or they have to go through every January and cull people from their Facebook lists. I'm like, well, maybe if you didn't friend and accept requests from everybody on the planet, boundaries. But you have to do you. So despite all those other issues, I'm not giving Facebook up because it's a primary place to connect with my college pals and my far-flung business pals and the colleagues that I do love and my friends and my family because we're all scattered around a lot. And I love the irreverent, awful jokes and memes that some of my friends post. I literally laughed tears and hurt yesterday. But you have to do you. And so that's why I'm asking you to maybe flip things around this year. Getting smart and measurable and actionable and all of those things with your goals if you have them. But if you haven't been seeing changes like you'd like in your business, maybe it's time to flip it around and think about, what do you want to stop doing? Maybe this is the permission you need to stop trying to figure out Pinterest. or Reels or TikTok? If your clients aren't mostly 12 to 22, 12 to 24, does it make sense for you and your business to be on TikTok? Maybe you want to be on TikTok personally because it's funny as hell, but maybe it doesn't make any sense for your business to be there if that's not your client group. So think about it. Maybe in your business you've decided that this is the year that you're going to stop spending as much time on one-to-one clients, and you're going to look for more ways to scale. You're going to look for doing group coaching. You're going to look for more workshops, more courses, things that people can do self-study, where you create it once, sell it multiple times, and it's not dollars for hours. So unresolutions, in my thinking, are also about, like I said, what you're not giving up. Like I'm not giving up coffee or wine or Facebook. What are you going to give yourself permission to lean into this year? Perhaps even if others have said otherwise. So maybe you're going to lean into Pinterest, but are you going to do it and do it right? And are you going to have measurable goals? So one of these things, though, to stop doing things or to not give up certain things that we are doing in our marketing for our businesses, we have to know what is working. Like, we want to hang on to what it is that we like doing and that it works, and maybe stop doing the things that take up a ton of time for a little reward. And I actually planned out some of my Facebook Lives for this month. So there's going to be one later where we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule and like where most of your time needs to be going. And are you spending it on the portion that actually brings you back rewards? We talked about this in my email challenge group this week. That maybe as much as I love email marketing and think it's absolutely hella great return on investment, that maybe for some people in their businesses and their audiences, it doesn't make sense to build giant lists because not everybody is right for them. Not everybody is right for their coaching packages. Not everybody is right for their services. And you don't want to be grabbing up a ton of people that are just on your list but aren't likely to truly be your ideal customer. So maybe you need to focus a little bit more. But if you don't know what's working, how do you know what to stop? So it's beginning of a new month and a new year. So one of the things you should be doing about that whole SMART goals and measurable is, do you have numbers? Do you know how many people are on your email list? Do you know how many people are in your social media groups? And how many other people are in their social media groups also on your email? So that's a big one. And I think Tracy's watching here today. That's one of her goals this year. Get folks from her group to her email list. So where she's going to work on taking measurable, actionable steps to encourage those folks to move over. Do you know how many of the people that are in your email community are also your paid customers? Do you have like a tag? Are you tracking them? Do you know what's your monthly average revenue? Could you figure out what the average value of a customer is, like based on what they've bought and they've purchased? If you have landing pages, I've done workshops on landing pages. All of us can create a landing page. It helps when we have additional tools that help us know how well that landing page is doing. Like even the most bare bone basic statistics, like the Jetpack plugin from the folks at WordPress can give you basic stats on how a page or post is doing on your website. So if you've used the built-in tools that are native to WordPress to build that landing page, you can look in a given month and a given week how many visits that landing page has. Then you can also take a look at how many people are in your email marketing software for that freebie that's on that landing page. It's math. Make Excel or Google do the math for you if you don't have tools that are doing it for you. But no, because then you can figure out what is and isn't working and you can make tweaks. The same thing with sales pages. So if you don't have some of these numbers, maybe that's one of your goals, resolutions. I said the word, that you're going to track what matters to you. Maybe it isn't the number on your email list. Maybe it's not something else. Maybe it's knowing Is that particular landing page and that free gift the one that's working? Because if it isn't, maybe that's what you need to change. Maybe you need to start by changing the headline, change the picture, change the freebie entirely. But you don't know if you're not tracking things. Figure out the simplest thing to track that gives you something meaningful. Because in the end, data just means finding out what's working and to do more of what works and less of what isn't working. So if you're also talking about that you want to build community, maybe you're building community on Facebook. Maybe you have a group. Maybe you're building community somewhere else on your site. Cool. Do you know the rate at which you're growing monthly? What activities or actions are you undertaking each month to grow? You can't complain that you're not growing if you aren't actually doing specific tasks to grow, like getting more eyeballs on that community, inviting more people to it, mentioning it in other social posts, mentioning it in your emails. So if wishing and hoping for growth isn't an action plan, and it's not a terribly good resolution either. So maybe stop with the wishing. Maybe your community goal is engagement from your current people. I love the folks in my email community. I love my mighty pals here on Facebook and YouTube. So if we want engagement, what does that mean? Are you getting any engagement? How does the platform itself specifically measure engagement? They all have tools. How many people are watching? How many comments, likes, things like that. But also, what are you doing to encourage it? Like, hey, me calling out and waving to my folks who are following and watching and sharing stuff online and asking them to drop me comments on the video and asking if they really like it. Give me the emojis. You can ask for the engagement. But you also have to be there and be engaging. Ask questions, run polls. Don't just hope and wish for it. Are you if one of your goals is are you getting sales from a group? Well, are you asking them to buy? Are you putting the link to your pages in your group, and are you specifically telling them why they should buy? What's in it for them? You can't we can't sit around here on our hands and wish and hope. So, what do you need to stop doing this year? What needs to change? And start with little steps. So, I'm running a challenge all January about email marketing habits. And that's one thing that we know is that to build a habit can take time. That's why it's a 30-day challenge. You take a little step at a time. All of the prompts this week have been fairly easy. Any of us can do it. In any of our businesses, we can talk about an app, we can talk about a book, we can talk about people that we follow. Easy, accessible, gets us in the habit of writing. Plus, I gave them this tracker so they can write down, and if you give stickers and check marks to yourself, you're like, woo, I got something done. So, but it takes time. You might even need to have a cue. The folks who are all about habit building and creating habits and goals that actually stick are things like, if you want to exercise, you should put your gym shoes and your exercise clothes out the night before. So that might mean that you write down, that's why I'm giving them the prompts to get started in writing. Or the cue is, I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. I'm going to write at 10 a.m. I'm going to write at 3 p.m. Set the cue. The cue is I sit down with my cup of tea and it's writing time. You put on a particular song or a channel and it becomes writing time. Work on those cues to help you make positive changes as well. Looking back at email and data just being, hey, what's working is, are there commonalities in your email about what's being opened and or what's being clicked? Yes, I know, open rates. All messed up. So don't think about them in the absolute, but do especially since things have changed in the last few months, you can look back and go, all right, these are averaging this, and then, oh, wow, that one got a lift. What was in it? Is that a subject line you can test and try again with a variation? Or do you think it was the subject? You got more clicks. Are you putting things that are clear and should be clickable in your emails? Can you test more of that? Are you testing anything in your email at all? Just about every email marketing software has the ability to, at the least, test, A/B, or split test your email subjects. I do it, but not as often as I should do it. I should probably split test every email subject I send, because we've been talking about this in my email group. Subjects, oh my God, they're like the bane of our existence. I know all the tricks about writing better email subjects, curiosity and FOMO and all those things, and numbers and questions. So, you know what? Maybe when you sit down and you're drafting the email, spend the extra 5 minutes and come up with 3 different subject lines: a question, a number, all those different tips and tricks about writing a subject line. You can watch the other videos I've done about subject lines. You should go back and watch my own videos that I've done about subject lines. And then test the different subjects. You don't even have to do anything special. You could just tell your email software, like, hi, just run the test. And just split it up. You don't have to do the thing where a winner gets the rest of the emails after X% of time. No. I let mine go and I have it split like 50-50. 50% of my people on that segment or that email get one subject and 50% get something else. And you tweak it just enough so that you're like, I'm pretty sure it was the fact that that one's a question and that one's a statement. That one has a number, that one doesn't have a number. You change things too much and you're like, I have no idea why one did better versus the other. The other thing we can do in terms of email and testing is segments. And it's something that my email challenge folks have asked me for, so we're going to have to be talking about it probably in like week 2 or 3 of the challenge, is writing emails that help us create buckets so that we go, oh, hey, they want to hear more about this and they want to hear more about this. So we're going to send it to the 2 different buckets. And yes, it might be a little bit more work. It might mean that you have variations in each email, or you send one email on one day and one email on another day. However, because you're sending it to smaller segments and it's exactly what those people said they wanted to hear about, they're more likely to open it. They're more likely to click on it. They're more likely to buy from it. All the rest of your stats now go up too. So it's something that we all need to change and do more of. We need to basically stop sending the exact same email to absolutely everybody on our email lists in 2022. It just doesn't work as well anymore. And I know it's tough. That means we're going to have to make some changes, but we have the tools, we can do that. So every business is different, and there are going to be different ways to measure things for you, and there's going to be different data that matters. You may decide that the only thing that matters is the bottom line every month. It doesn't matter whether you sold 10 courses to get there or 1 private coaching client. Doesn't matter for you. But just don't go into this year blind. Take the time this week to look back, look at whatever numbers matter to you, and go, okay, cool. What's one thing I'm going to do different? Maybe it's going to be one thing I'm going to do different in January. One thing I'm going to do different, in February. Build small steps. Don't change everything in your business just because arbitrarily the calendar flipped and everybody said you got to do new shit on January 1. No. Resolve to do more of what you like and what brings you results. Do less of what's a pain in your butt and isn't bringing you results. And, resolve to be honest about it. Did you not get results because you were inconsistent? Yeah, are you blaming email marketing and saying you don't see an ROI, but you didn't send any emails? Or you sent one email a month? All right, tough love time. You can't say that email is totally ineffective if you didn't consistently, effectively use email. I could say the same about, Instagram is trash, except it's not, because I like seeing my friends and family's post pictures. But if I don't consistently use Instagram in a strategic way for business, then it would be trash for me to say that, because I'm not doing those things. which is why I don't tell you that Instagram doesn't work for business, because I know it can if you're following the things that you need to be doing. So here's it. Flip the switch. Flip it this year. Look at your data, yes, but data is just there to tell you, hey, here's what matters, or here's what doesn't matter, and here's how you're going to use it going forward. Decide to measure what matters for you and for your business. Decide that that's going to be a habit. That you're going to look at your numbers on the 28th of every month, or the 30th, or whatever is relevant for you. Maybe you only pick 3 things that you're going to measure each month. And you may review later in this quarter, are the 3 things that you pick to measure actually making a difference? Are they letting you make changes that help your business? If not, then you need to measure something different. So, what are you going to stop doing? And what are you going to lean into and do more of that you're not going to give up for your business this year? I'd love to hear more. Drop it in the comments, drop it in the chats. Thank you all for being here. I am wishing everyone the best of a new year. Bye, folks.